Hi, this is Maria Mandarino, acupuncturist, Enneagram practitioner, spiritual director. And I'm here today with Julie Jacobs. We are working, she's from Windhorse Counseling, and we are working on a series right now about the different Enneagram types and how they respond to narcissists in their lives. Today, we're going to be talking about Enneagram Type 4. Before we jump in, first, I'm going to ask you, I've been forgetting this, please like and subscribe to, like the video, subscribe to the channel. That way you'll get updates on when we do this the next time. We're trying to do it weekly, but you'll get updates on projects that we're working on as well. And feel free to comment. I encourage you to comment so that adds some resonance to what we're talking about for people. And also share the video with people that can benefit from it. So all that said, I'd like Julie to introduce herself, talk a little bit about what you do, Julie, and why you do it.
Thanks, Maria. My name is Julie Jacobs. I work at Windhorse Counseling in Chandler, Arizona. Moved almost 2 years ago. You'd think I'd remember that, but my company is called Windhorse because the Windhorse in Eastern tradition comes and carries people until they can carry themselves, and that's what I'm here to do. Help carry you on your way until you can take over and do it on your own. I'm trained in quite a few different modalities. I do Sandtray, I do EMDR, I do some play therapy, art therapy, et cetera, et cetera. I meet my client where they are and hold the space, and we figure it out together. So currently doing mostly individuals. I'm planning some groups that will be taking place starting in the fall. One group I'm really excited about, of course, is the boundaries group, which is really important for all of us who have interactions with narcissists, and regular people too. But also putting together a course called Adulting for young adults, helping them figure out how to do this thing called life without their parents doing everything for them. So
nice.
That includes some boundaries there as well.
Nice. I want to give a little personal bit of applause for your work. What I love about how you work is, and you're the only counselor I know that I can say this about. The way you work, you get in under the radar with people, and it's like you take the express lane with people. You just get them there. I mean, we know so many people that are in therapy, 20, 30 years, and they just never seem to get anywhere. And the way you work, you just get in under that energetic radar to the thing that's really the thing. So if you haven't already checked out Julie's website, we're going to put all that in the show notes, but windhorsecounseling.com. She's awesome. She's amazing. And she's really brilliant and insightful. So thank you for what you do.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So today we are going to talk about Enneagram Type 4, sometimes called the romantic. I'm going to bring up a slide of their focus. With me a minute. I am having trouble with my screen share. Okay. Here we go. Yeah, I want to get a full screen on it. So present, nope, not what I want. I want that one. There we go. All right. So focus of type 4 is they want to find deep and soulful connections, and they are the deepest feelers out of the 9 types in the Enneagram. They are all about relationships. So a little different from type 2. We did an episode on type 2. They really want to connect. 4s want to go deep into the relationship. So it's a different kind of experience around the connection. 2s want to fill the need. 4s want to just feel everything with you. They are focused on what's missing. I'm going to talk a little bit more as we get deeper into the 4, but it's what's missing in them. They are focused on the elusive, the thing that they can never quite attain, the right job, the right person in their life, the location that they're in. It's just never, it's almost there, but they never seem to attain it. And that gets back to the what's missing in them that's causing them to not attain it. They can live in a fantasy world. These are the people that love fantasy movies and fantasy books and stories. Reason for that is the present can feel dissatisfactory to them, so they'd rather go into this fantasy space where everything is perfect and ideal. They focus on sad feelings. They do sadness really well. They can be dramatic. This kind of gets to that romantic nature that they have. They can go into the really difficult emotions. The beauty of that as a 4 is they can, if you're in a dark space, if you're in a sad, something really horrible has happened in your life, man, they will just jump into the dark waters with you. It doesn't scare them. It's comfortable to them. So their focus is on the sad, really deep, hard emotions. And extremes of emotions. They do the highs and the lows. And they try to idealize life. They're idyllic. And this is one of the big things to remember about the 4. They seek ways to be unique, original, and special. That holds a high priority for them. So I'm going to stop the screen share for a moment. So let's talk about some of that in the context of encountering a narcissist. What do you think, Julie?
Seeking ways to be unique, original, and special. I see that as a spot where a narcissist is going to go, okay, that's where I want to target, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm going to make you feel special and unique. I'm going to make you feel like you're the only person on the planet who gets me.
Yeah.
And I'm going to suck you in that way. I'm going to tell you about how sad my life is and how horrible my life is. And you're going to come and meet me even further in the pit of despair.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you about all the things that are missing in my life. And if only I had someone like you to help me, they wouldn't be missing. Again, there's that 4 going, and I'm missing that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's lots of little places, the relationship piece, the deep connections. There's a whole lot of places there for those narcissists to plug in.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're probably reading it.
Absolutely.
The
Yeah.
energy. Yeah. Yeah. And then it can become in that, because you're dealing with a 4, the potential for it to be that much more dramatic. And, because you've got the drama that the narcissist is likely bringing. The 4 who does draw, likes to do, this is fun, this feels good, this feels satisfying to the 4 because this is their focus. And so you've got 2 people bringing 2 different types of drama into what can really be a pretty serious situation. I want to bring up another slide. And that is going to be, I want to go to the 4 being out of balance. So let me just get there. And that didn't do what I wanted to do. Okay, these slides are from the course that I'm going to have coming up shortly, hopefully by the end of summer. So the 4 out of balance. So this is the person who probably doesn't even know they're a 4, or possibly doesn't know. Or if they do know, they haven't done enough work around it. And the out of balance energy. And how I've talked about this, how I look at the Enneagram and dealing with narcissists is where you're going to lose your energy, where you're going to keep your energy. So this is where the 4s are going to lose that energy. If you're focused on crisis, and that narcissist is more than happy to bring you as many of those as you need, you're going to lose energy.
And each time you fix one crisis, they've got
They'll have
another one. It's a bottomless pit of crises, and some of them aren't even true.
Yeah, and the 4 loves the bottomless pit.
Uh-huh.
So there you go. It's like a recipe for disaster.
Uh-huh.
And so the 4 out of balance is also going to be high drama. That narcissist is usually going to be high drama, especially if they know that you like that, or not that you like it, but that your out of balance energy is resonating there.
And that's where you engage.
Yeah. And the 4 out of balance is going to be very resistant to change. So I don't know what you think about that, but I think that's probably going to look like somebody else might come along and say, "What are you doing?"
Mm-hmm.
And the 4 is going to say, "Oh no, they understand me. We click. We get each other.
I'm the only person who can help them."
Yeah.
This is the thing, because I am so special and unique.
Right.
We work really well together. They just need me so much.
Yeah. Which brings us to the next one, self-absorbed. So the type 4 that's out of balance is so into themselves, and now somebody else is into them. Well, hey, does it get better than that, right? So so these are things to be aware of if you're a 4. I'm sorry.
There's a book called Too Close, Too Soon. And I don't know why I just thought of the title of that right now, but I can see a type 4 and a narcissist being like really quickly engaged. And then obviously the narcissist isn't going to disengage, but that 4 isn't either, because that narcissist is actually feeding all of the things that they need fed.
Yeah. On the lower side. Yeah. If they're in that low.
Untangle.
Yeah. Yeah. It can really, they can get lost in that darkness. The highs and the lows. So, 4s out of balance, bring that. 4s can be exhausting to deal with, an out of balance 4. Because again, that drama, the highs and the lows of the drama, you never know what you're going to get. So pretty much the same with a narcissist, right? And 4s don't like the ordinary. They're afraid of the ordinary. So again, that's attractive to the narcissist, because the 4 is not going to feel ordinary when the narcissist steps in and starts hitting all, or checking all the boxes for them. Here's the hard one when you're working with a 4. The 4 will feel shame for what's missing, and what's not in that slide is for what's missing in them. And a 4 will tell you that there's this pervasive sadness that runs in the background with them. And again, depending on how out of balance they are, how low in type they are, this can really be profound. But there's this sense of, I'm deficient, I'm broken. There's no way I'll ever have all the pieces in place to be what other people are. Other people who are living in these beautiful environments, or have the perfect relationship or the perfect job. There's something missing in me. There's something missing in me. There's some broken piece of me that fell out long ago, and I don't know where to find it. So again, another thing for the narcissist to love to slip into that energy. And so another interesting thing, and I think this is where the relationship with a low 4 and a narcissist can just explode. A 4 will walk out of a relationship with this, "You can't fire me, I quit, bye." And it can also be this back and forth. They get pulled back into this. "Well, no, you can't leave." "Oh, well, they want me because I'm unique." And this one can have many explosions.
Well, and I see that push-pull dynamic being where they're almost taking turns being in control.
Yeah. So, all
right. It's exhausting to think about a relationship like that, right?
Yeah, for sure. And then, all right, so let me stop the screen share for a minute. So what I want to get to is the stress type and the security type of where fours can go to gain strength, or at least not lose energy in the relationship with the narcissist, where they can gain understanding into themselves and what's going on and how they're being played. But before we go there, we've just covered quite a bit. So I think it's important for any type to get help when the narcissistic relationship becomes intense and overbearing and they're just losing themselves. But I think there are some types that are way more vulnerable, and this is one of them. I didn't say it yet, but the 4 is they're one of the heart types. So I think the heart types, we've said this before, the heart types, we have to watch a little closer with the narcissists that might engage with them. And there's, I want to just read a section, Julie, before I have you talk about the importance of bringing or reaching out for help if you're in this type of a situation. So I'm going to read a section from this wonderful book called The Road Back to You by Ian Cron and Susan Stabile. And this is from the chapter on type 4. I'm going to read the part on healthy 4s versus unhealthy 4s. So 4s have a considerable emotional range, and they manage it by not speaking or acting on every feeling they have. Again, these are the high 4s. They know they don't have to be special to win God's unconditional love. These 4s have found a way to live, for the most part, outside the pattern of shame and inferiority. They're deeply creative, they're emotionally honest and connected, and attuned to beauty. The unhealthy 4, on the other hand, and this is where, most of the people who are going to be tuning into something like this are probably going to resonate with what's here. And we don't see this in ourselves when we're doing it. Okay, so I want to say that too. Unhealthy 4s tend to be manipulative. They play the role of victim in order to create or maintain relationships. They find themselves lacking when compared to others, which only exacerbates their self-debasement. And that's usually more internalized. They don't usually say that to others. And these 4s feel so much shame that they're unable to connect to the very part of themselves that believes they can change and be better. So that's a lot of stuff in the unhealthy one. So Julie, tell me where you would meet that.
If you are an out of balance or unhealthy 4, I think the best thing to do is get the therapy before you find the narcissist.
Yeah.
Because man, that's going to be a tough one to
Untangle.
Untangle for sure. I not that you can't do it, but I can see where an unhealthy 4, if they're in this relationship with the narcissist and that relationship has existed for a while, I can see where that's going to be a long therapeutic road.
Yeah.
And I think the focus needs to be on that 4 taking care of themselves, right? And ignoring the narcissist relationship piece of it and focusing on the self-care and what I'm worth and what can I do to feel good about me and et cetera, et cetera. And this thing that I feel like is missing really isn't missing, right? Reminding them of that.
Yeah, which is ongoing for them. That's not a one-time, that's like an everyday.
For sure. I see it being very difficult to help a 4 get out of a relationship with a narcissist, because that relationship really fuels so many of the things the 4 craves, that drama, the crisis, their resistance to wanting to change. Right. And
because the payoff is they're unique.
Uh-huh.
Because they're in this drama.
Yes, and the highs and the lows.
Yeah.
And man, a narcissist and an out of balance 4, I bet they can do a push-pull abandoning relationship like nobody's business.
Yeah.
Right. So I think if you are an out of balance 4, do some self-work before a narcissist finds
Yeah. Yeah. So that maybe they don't find them
Uh-huh.
at all. Because we go back to that high 4, right? They have a considerable emotional range. They can manage it. So low 4s don't manage those emotions. They can manage it by not speaking or acting on every feeling. So if the narcissist is checking those boxes for you, you're not gonna react because you have more range, right? They don't know they rather they do know they don't have to be special to win God's love, that God's unconditional love. So the whole special piece is taken out of the equation. So if you do that work and you understand your 4, you do the excavation work of being a type 4, you're walking into that relationship with the narcissist with different armor.
Mm.
So yeah, I think that's where and we have some clients in common, between the work that you do with counseling and the work that I do with spiritual direction. And I don't know if you're seeing it, but I'm definitely seeing it when it all comes together and they have the tools from counseling, the awareness that counseling gives them, and then that spiritual knowing, because our Enneagram starts to be set when we arrive on the planet and we have eye contact with our first caregiver, and we are figuring out in this nonverbal experience how to get our needs met. If we do this, if we make this face, if we cry, if we whatever we do in this nonverbal experience, we've just landed on the planet, we're getting feedback from that person who is looking at us. And no matter what that feedback is, it starts to set up who we become, and that Enneagram type is formed between that moment and pretty much around the age of 21. It's being formed. So when people start doing this work and combining it with counseling, that takes them to the depths, the counseling that takes them, gets them under the radar, gets that awareness, and then they get the awareness of type and where this came from, where in their childhood this started to set up. Man, it's a game changer. So I got a little off topic there. So my 7 line came out to play. um, but yeah, I mean,
Self-awareness is huge, man.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
right? Knowing, even if it's a matter of going, okay, I know the red flags to watch for me.
Mhm.
Someone like that might not be a red flag for somebody else who's a
Right,
different type.
right.
But if I know my strengths, my weaknesses, who I can connect with and who I can't,
Mhm.
like, I got to listen to that and
Mhm.
teaching people to, a
Oh.
lot of us have a feeling about someone.
Mhm.
That feeling is, listen to that
Mhm.
feeling. Don't
Mhm.
try and prove it wrong.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Don't
The little
get
voice,
sucked
and
into
yep.
that. Oh, if I can do this, then
Yeah, yeah. And if you lead with 4, you suspect you lead with 4, and you just feel yourself getting caught up and it's moving fast, that's probably a good place to just put the pause on and
mhm,
assess, and get to that awareness of, what is going on, what's going on within me, how does my body feel, how many steps ahead of my body is my spirit, where is my heart, who's pressing the buttons in that heart. A lot of questions, a lot of questions, and opportunities for reflection. So yeah. So you mentioned self-care
mhm.
for the 4, and and again, here's a great topic that applies to any, all the 9. We all need to be focusing on self-care. But I want to jump to another slide about that. So, oops. And, okay. And change. Okay. Hopefully this is now where I want it. So 4 will go to type 2. 4 will go to type 2 in stress. Which if you're not self-aware as a 4, is going to pose a problem. Because 2s in balance want to do some, what I would say are potentially dangerous things for a low 4, for a stressed out 4, I should say, who's engaging with the narcissist. I would say you do not want to seek deep connections with this person. You do not want to hold space with this person.
Sure as heck don't want to be emotionally
available. Yeah, or supportive. I'm dropping down. Relationship oriented, helpful, caring, good boundaries you want.
Absolutely.
And giving that does not feel intrusive, which I think can be tricky if you're being manipulated by a narcissist.
I would
And
agree.
then this one here recognizes the importance of self-care in order to care for others. So you got to do this and the boundaries, and giving that doesn't feel intrusive. I honestly, I'd leave that one out. But the 2 blue boxes, right? Recognizing the importance of self-care in order to care for others, not the narcissist, everybody else, and good boundaries. If you're going to take something from, so I always say, again, this is the stress type, you just theoretically don't want to go there. However, I don't believe we are sheep. I believe when we are enlightened through the Enneagram, we can make choices and we can pick some of the things that will serve us, even if it's an attribute that relates to our stress type. So if you're going to pick 2 of those attributes, 2s need good boundaries. They need to work on good boundaries, and a 2 in balance will have those. So it's not an easy road for the 4 to get there, but they can work at it. It's effort has to come into it, and recognizing the importance of self-care, because the narcissist, and I'm sure you'll agree with me on this, Julie, the narcissist is going to rip you right out of your any attempt you make to engage in self-care.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. So
absolutely.
The 2 can be dangerous ground, but if you're going to work towards something that is in a direction that I would say is not a direction of ease for a 4, if you're going to put some effort and energy into it, those are the 2 that you want to reach for. And then I want to get to the 1. So, because this is going to be the easier path for the 4 to get to. And of course, it's at the end of my slide, so give me a minute.
It's interesting that the 4 going to the 1 is easier than the 4 going to the 2, when 4 and 2 are both heart types.
Yeah. Well, I think
And the
that's why
1
it's
is good.
dangerous. Yeah.
Okay.
So the 1 takes them to their body.
Right.
The one's the body type. So it's almost like, yeah, because you don't want to have too much heart. I think that's why the heart types are so appealing to the narcissist.
Yeah.
You want to get to that other aspect of your energy. All right, so
Which is probably uncomfortable for a heart type to go to the body.
Yeah. And that's where the work is in the Enneagram. That's we take people there into those uncomfortable experiences. All right, so here's where we call it where you go in attainment as a 4. And again, this is a 4 that's working on themselves. This is a 4 that has some Enneagram skills. So in attainment, you have access to the type 1 imbalance, being honest. And I would say, and I'm sure you'll put better languaging around this, Julie, I would say bring that honesty in real neutrality. You'll probably have better language for me than that.
I agree with you, because being honest isn't always received well. Right. And so finding ways, and not to be manipulative, but to present to present the honesty, to present those things in a way that isn't going to threaten that narcissist, right?
Right. Why?
Right, because no one could throw a bigger tantrum than a narcissist losing control of someone else's mind.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So I think that one of the things in dealing with the narcissist that especially a four and the other heart types as well are going to have to be careful of is you got to protect that heart piece. You
Yeah.
can't lead with your heart, even though that's your nature. That's what's comfortable, right? So going to that type one where your heart's going to be a little more protected and you're doing the body stuff,
Yeah.
you can listen to your body. It's going to tell you that this person is not a good match for you. Right. And
Yeah.
focusing on the nice, honest.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with me. But the two of us together, we were like crazy strong magnets, and now we are exploding.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
isn't working for me. And right? So
Mm-hmm.
finding that way to be honest, where you're disconnecting
Right.
or not allowing them to plug in,
To come in.
because
Yeah.
that's what they're
Mm-hmm.
brilliant at.
Yeah. I love that you said that. I want to throw in a little piece of Chinese medicine in there, about guarding the heart. So there are some schools of thought in Chinese medicine where we don't treat the heart. We treat what we call the pericardium, which, long story short, is our filter. So it's important to connect with your filter and not, so when you want to be honest or need to be honest, have that filter in place so that the heart is guarded. So the Chinese medicine is based on the feudal system. So the heart is the emperor and the pericardium is said to be the minister. So the emperor is super important. So you don't want to just accost him with all the complaints from the people, right? So the minister goes out and picks and chooses the important complaints and he filters them, comes back to the emperor with what's really important. So if that visualization helps, as you're for trying to be honest, in that, and be in that neutral space, so you're not feeding anybody's drama, use your pericardium energy to do that. And an evolved one does that really well. But be prepared for the pushback. All right, I'm going to go back to that slide. So persistence, type 1 imbalance is persistent. They are responsible, concerned with improvement. I wouldn't be concerned with improving the narcissist, though. They're self-reliant, which is going to make a narcissist fairly crazy. They have healthy high standards. So they're going to raise the bar in the room, which the narcissist isn't going to like. They're idealistic. I don't know that I would check that box in this situation. They're accomplished. So they're independent, which is a good thing to be around a narcissist. Dedicated, efficient. I'd highlight that one, and they're organized. So those are some of your places of resourcefulness, I would say. Any of them jump out more than others for you?
I guess the thing that I was thinking as we're going through this is the most important thing, I think, is to use that pericardium energy and protect that heart. And any of those things that you do it with that as the front runner, that filter, that protector, right? Because having those healthy high standards, but making sure that there's that filter protecting you. Because the narcissist may see that as an attack and they're coming at you.
And they're still a 4 at the end of the day.
And they're still a 4 at the end of the day. The narcissist might see that as, oh, you think you're better than I am?
Yeah.
My guess is that's a pretty fast nosedive for a 4,
Yeah,
right?
because that's going to
They're
attack your
so empathetic.
deficiency. Yep,
Mhm.
exactly. Yep.
And so relationship oriented.
Hmm.
So that would be my take on that
Yeah.
is if you're wherever you're going, right? But
Hmm.
especially like going to that two, put that filter in place because some of those really great qualities of the
Tools.
imbalanced person
Yeah.
are also places for that narcissist to
Be
just flip
triggered.
something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's also where I don't want to see the fours do this as a do-it-yourself project. I really want to see you do
And
this with somebody with you, guiding you, directing you, supporting you.
calling you on your stuff,
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
Because a four loves to be a victim.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Because it makes them special.
yeah.
Yeah.
So then maybe you don't want to get out of that relationship, but who wants to be that crazy all the time?
All the time, and how much energy you lose, and your true self. Like, where is your true self in that?
Right. And then what does it do to your body? What does it do to your gut? What does it do? Pay
Yeah.
attention to those things, right? If you are
Totally.
around someone and every time you're around them or they call you, you get a migraine headache, for example, avoid that person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
listen to the information that your body's
Mm.
telling.
Yeah. Yeah. Your body will never lie.
Nope.
No, never lie. We can shut it down and it will still be communicating with us, and it will keep going until it gets our attention. And you don't want it to get your attention in those ways that are difficult to reverse. So, yeah.
Amen.
Yep. So, all right. Well, we just took a pretty intense tour around the four.
Yeah.
Anything that you want to add?
I think that a four who is not at their highest self, is out of balance,
Mm.
is someone who really should find some support and
Yeah.
find some help.
Yeah.
Whether it's through therapy,
Mm.
spiritual direction,
Yeah.
body work. Maybe body
Mhm.
work is a good
Yeah.
place to start because it's less intimidating,
Yeah.
less scary,
Yeah.
overwhelming, and
Yeah.
you can learn some ways to protect your heart
I will
there.
say one thing about, because I do some somatic work, fours are the toughest ones
I bet
to
they are.
get them to actually do the feeling on the tip. For the deepest feelers on the Enneagram,
Mhm,
they will not do it that easily through the body.
mhm.
So, yeah, interesting,
I can see that.
interesting thing there. Yeah. So, and I guess it's because the payoff is different. When you're doing it in body work, you got to be honest about it. You got to go to that one, right? To the energy of a one.
You got to
Um,
be honest and you got to be willing to give up being a victim for a minute.
yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah. And that's scary. That can be scary for them.
especially depending on how out of balance you are.
Yeah. 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 So for sure. All right. Well, thank you. And thank you all for
Thank
being here
you.
with us today. And if you have any comments, if you lead with four, know someone who does, if you have any insights to offer, love for you to drop a comment. We will put our contact information in the show notes. Great news, my scheduling system is now back up. So if you want to schedule, you can do that on my website. Julie, you don't have online scheduling, do you? Or
I do
no?
not.
Okay, so you have
No.
to reach out,
You can
email or
call or
call.
email.
Okay.
Call, email. You can even text me. Just make sure
Okay.
you give me enough information to respond.
Okay, cool. All right. All right, so we will see you here next time. We will probably be doing type 7 next time. We'll be moving into the head types. And again, remember to like and comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we will see you next time. Thank you. Bye.